Yes, because I was.
Nikki, you okay? She's staring at me like, God, why do I come? What am I doing?
Wow. Sharing your screen.
Oh, sharing screen. That's. It doesn't bode well, does it?
No.
And Jim is elbowing Josh and going, what was that you said?
Exactly.
All right. So we're doing Hosea because I don't know what we did last time. I think it was Hosea, but we're gonna do it again. Because we didn't record it
It didn't.
and we were off and
It didn't sink in.
it didn't sink in what he said. So the prophets, Hosea is a unique thing. Yeah, we know the story. Go marry a prostitute. And then that's going to be a metaphor for my view of Israel and Judah. This is taking place in the 700s, probably 750, 720. Assyria is on the spread. It's oh, that's not what this is what I wanted. It's an interesting time in world history. In this time frame, this is when Homer's writing, probably the Iliad. It's around this time frame. The story of the Iliad took place 300 years earlier, up in here. So we don't get sidetracked on that. But we have these guys are about to spread out to become these guys. And the only place they don't take, you'll notice, is Judah. They're going to take Egypt, but right when they take Egypt, they get destroyed. So they only hold it for like a year or two, maybe 10, and then they're destroyed. But the Assyrians are Nineveh, which is Mosul. If anybody's been in the Iraq War over here, they when they would conquer peoples, they would transplant them. They would just haul them around. Say, you're going to live here now. You're going to live here now, because it's a brilliant idea. You're too busy trying to learn to live in an environment that you're not at all familiar with to foment a rebellion. Oh, and by the way, we're going to tax you into oblivion. So, yeah, it worked, but it was a hideous, evil thing to do, and the people resented them greatly. The Assyrians were going to spread, and in 605, easy date to remember, they're going to be destroyed, and they're going to be taken over by the Babylonians, who are down here, southern Iraq. And Babylonians are only going to be around about 70 years. They take over in 605, and in 539, the Persians are going to take over. Persians are Iran, and they're right here, and they're going to take over. So you get a bam, 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 and then the Persians are around. The Persians are unique in that they're Zoroastrian, they're monotheists, and they have a unique perspective on things, and they're, especially Cyrus, he's an enlightened ruler, but they're going to be replaced, by these guys. Greece. Alexander the Great is going to come over. In 333, he's going to start. And in 10 years, he's going to take over the world. And the whole world's going to become Greek. And you have Greek. Cleopatra, for example, famous Cleopatra of Egypt, is Greek. She's queen down here. You got Greeks over here, and they're just everywhere. Alexander dies, and this Greek world is there, and that's where Judaism of Jesus' day really comes to fruition and gives us the world of which Jesus thrives. Even before that, though, they get attacked by Rome. And the Romans end up, so that by the time Jesus is here, this is Roman territory. And it's just interesting. This is a volatile place and a volatile time. And we're going back to the 700s, and this is the expansion of the Assyrians. And they're violent, not merciful, and cruel. And this is their world. And Israel is going to disappear, the northern kingdom. And we're going to be left with Judah. That's about it. It's just to review, David is 1008 to 971 BC. Or to make it really easy, he's 1000 BC. And he's on the throne in Jerusalem in 1000 BC. And his son takes over for him. He's going to rule 40 years, where 40 years is a little too neat. So we're not quite sure if that's actually what he did, but that's the numbers we have, so we work with it. And so he's 971 to 931. And when he dies, his son Rehoboam comes to the throne, and you know the story. And he goes up to talk to the northern tribes, and they're saying, your dad was insane, meaning Solomon. I mean, the taxes just to build that stupid palace. And then on top of that, you're going to build the temple too. You bled us dry. You've got to lower taxes. And Rehoboam's older advisors go, they're not lying. You need to lower taxes. Solomon was too much. But then he talked to his young buds who had grown up only in the court and didn't know what it was like to hold a job. And they say, no, this is a challenge to your authority. You've got to tell them, no, not only whatever my dad did, I'm going to do worse. So that's actually what he says. And the northern kingdom says, well, okay, fine, bye, we're out of here. And they make Jeroboam their king, and they split, and Israel's divided into two. And so we have the divided kingdom from that point on, 931. 200 years, 931 to 731, is where the northern kingdom is. And when you read 1st and 2nd Kings, and 1st and 2nd Samuel, they're the ones that tell us all about the northern kings. And there's not a single good northern king. Not one of them's good. There are some good southern kings, not many, but there's some, but no good northern king. Chronicles, which is written, Kings is written around 550, right in the middle of the exile, because he tells us about the exile, but not the return. And the return is too massive of an event for it not to have been written about if it had occurred. So that gives this kind of an endpoint. So Kings is about 550 BC. Chronicles is about 200 years later, 150 years later. 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st, 2nd Kings, written by an unknown prophet. We don't know his name. But he's got a prophetic viewpoint, and he takes that approach. Chronicles is written by a priest, and he's obsessed with the things of the temple. And he's writing after the return, and it's trying to reestablish the temple in the worldview of the Israelites and Judeans. Because remember, the big thing that's occurred here is when Babylon takes over from Assyria, it destroys Jerusalem, 586. They come down to Jerusalem, they attack it, destroy it, and they destroy the temple. And they haul off the Judeans to Babylon. And that's what we call the exile. It actually took place in 3 shifts, 3 phases, but that's essentially it. And so now you have this religious group who cannot do their religion because they're living in Babylon. And remember, all sacrifices have to be done at the temple. Well, not only are they not in the temple itself doesn't exist anymore. It's been destroyed. And so Judaism, the Israelite religion has to adjust, right? That's what I keep telling you. It's Judaism is the adaptation by Israelite religion to the absence of a temple. So prior to 586, you do not have Judaism. You have Israelite religion. Jeremiah is not a Jew. He's Israelite religion, Mosaic covenant. Judaism is this adaptation. And according to Jewish tradition, Ezra is the founder of Judaism. It's basically agreeing with what I'm saying. So in the exile, Judaism comes into existence. It's the development of a religion in exile for people living in exile. Well, the Babylonians get destroyed. Cyrus, king of Persia, conquers. And remember, in 539, he issues his famous decree. You know, the Assyrians and then the Babylonians hauled you peoples all over the world. I think that's a pretty hideous thing to do. I'll let you go home. In fact, I'll pay for you to go home. And I will give you all your religious stuff, and you could rebuild your temples. I'll pay for that. All I ask is that you pray for me. And so people are going, well, that sounds pretty good. However, you don't have to go back if you don't want to. Some of you have been here for generations. This is home for you now. But if you want to, you can go back. And it wasn't limited to the Judeans. He was doing it to all the people. If they wanted to go back, they could. Well, as you know, some of the Judeans did go back. The whole Ezra Nehemiah story. And they go back. And you remember the excitement to build the temple just wasn't there. We're back. And God had to, but we're not doing anything. We're not building the temple. When they got back, they immediately built an altar, but not a temple to go with it. And Haggai and Zechariah, God sends 2 prophets to say, no, you need to rebuild the temple. And so they do. In about 525, 515, the temple gets rebuilt. And now this Judaism, which is from the name Judah, that's what Judaism is, the religion of Judah. Well, they're going, what do we do with a temple? We were created to handle not having a temple. Now we have a temple. And so Judaism enters phase 2 with the temple. And this is what we call Second Temple Judaism. And that is the religion of Jesus and the New Testament. That's the background of it, is this religion, which lasts until the destruction of that Second Temple in 70 AD by the Romans. And then Judaism enters phase 3, Rabbinic Judaism, which is what we're living with now. It goes to Rabbinic Judaism and Christianity. And those are the survivors. So that's kind of a broad outline. What we're dealing with now is we're going back to the beginning when the Assyrians are just beginning to spread out. And Amos has just warned Israel. It's Israel now, right? The division's taking place 200 years earlier. And so you have 2 empires. You have Judah and Israel. And Amos is a southern guy. He's a prophet from the south. And he's going to go prophesy to the north. Imagine how that's going to go. And he's saying, you guys are pigs. And God's going to destroy you, just so you know. You're going to be wiped out. And the priests and the prophets under the employ of the northern kings go, this guy's a liar. And so conflict, and the king's got to sort this out. Well, then Hosea is another prophet. Same idea. It doesn't tell us where he's from in the book, but everybody seems to agree that he's from the north. He's prophesying to the north and he's from the north, though it's not explicitly stated. His mindset and everything is such that he looks like he's from the north. And that's the book we're looking at now. And he's going, Amos is not wrong. You guys are going to be destroyed. And it's happening soon. Well, in fact, it's going to happen in 722. And he's prophesying between 750 and 722. That'd be a heck of a time to be alive. You're going to be dead. We're going to destroy your kingdom. And he's going to do it by illustration. Now, I have to run to the bathroom right quick, so give me a second. What? You know what? It's pretty big.
Well, I thought you were talking the one right across the hall. Which is the one. Sorry, my bad.
All right, cannot find the private screening, so that was out. You got 12 o'clock Saturday in Broken Arrow, and that's a general admission thing, so everybody can just.
Which
get out
Saturday?
of your own seats. If you want a Cinemark or AMC, then we probably want to let one person buy them so we can have them together, so. The easiest thing would be 12 o'clock Saturday, but that's also
that at
12
the
o'clock on
Warren?
a Saturday. This would be the third.
At the Warren?
Yeah, the one. Or there's like a 3:30 again at Cinemark. You have group, there's enough seats available if we buy them today. So what's you guys' pleasure?
Is it next week?
It's 2 weeks off, yeah. Yeah, again, Warren, it's in one of their bigger theaters where it's general admission, so you go up and try to sit together, basically. It's on the 3rd. That's what it is.
Oh, they said.
So we would prefer the Warren, just because for us that allows us to not run up in.
Right, I can say yes.
But I also know that Warren is a bit of a drive for a number of people here.
What?
Yes, Warren.
No private screen yet, or the
So,
The movie.
That movie, there's no private screening.
yeah, I can't, that's not an option.
So we have to buy tickets. Okay.
Yeah, so we're talking. Is anybody opposed to the Warren at noon? So that's probably the easiest thing. So everybody can get your own seats.
Warren Theater,
Warren Theater.
noon,
On the 3rd, Saturday the 3rd.
February 3rd, Warren Theater, noon. Okay.
Probably just buy your own and try to sit.
That's cool.
That's probably the easiest way to organize it.
All right.
I won't be there.
No.
I have legal.
All right.
All right. Back to, I know this is Bible, but we'll look at it anyway. Not as exciting. So, Hosea, when you read Bible in the English, you're not privy to certain things. But it turns out the Hebrew of Hosea is extremely difficult because it's not written in normal Hebrew. It's the only way to describe it. It seems to be written, the best guess is a northern dialect because he's from the north. It's the claim. But it gets smooth out in English, but you can get a glimpse at this by comparing 3 or 4 different translations, and the text will not be the same because they're trying to figure out what the Hebrew says. So we're going to be doing ESV because why not? We're going to look at that. Is everybody okay with that? I'm going to blow it up. Nikki, can you see that? Nikki, can you see that? Okay, I want to get to the right size. Because we're not 22 anymore in here. You're not 22.
I'm 24.
Yeah, and Courtney, you're,
Courtney, how old are you? What?
she's 24.
I'm sorry. Is she your spokesman now? I'm just,
Well, she didn't answer it for me. She
I got
didn't
Andy to
answer
be
the
good
same
here.
question.
oh, she's you. Okay. All right, let's read. Nikki, would you mind reading for me?
Word of the Lord that came to Hosea, the son of Beeri,
Yeah,
in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam,
Jeroboam,
Jeroboam, the son of Josh,
Joash.
king of Israel.
Okay. The interesting thing is, he only mentions one king of the north. It's all kings of the south. But this is not Hosea writing this. Remember, Hosea is part of what's called the Book of the 12. And the 12 minor prophets are collected together in one work. In Hebrew, it's counted as one word. It's the Book of the 12. We call them the 12 minor prophets. But whoever collected them, presumably the last guy, he wrote these little intros for each of them. And they would locate it by terms of who was king when he was doing it. And so they all start like this. Not all of them, but almost all of them with a little reference like this. So that's not him. But we get this thing. All right. This works out to the middle 700.
Why only one king of the north?
That's what we don't know. Why is he doing it that way? Putting it over here. Here's Jeroboam. The second. And there's Uzziah and Jotham and Ahaz, which means all the way down here. He's actually working here too, but he only mentions Jeroboam the second. It's just odd. All the succession of kings in Israel, this column is Israel. This is Judah. All these guys, but one, the succession was by assassination. Somebody killed the guy ahead of them, and they took over. So it's a violent time in Israel. Ironically, economically, it's quite prosperous. Israel's quite wealthy, but socially, it's a basket case. So, Beeri is his father's name. Don't know where he's from. The assumption is he's from the north.
When the Lord first spoke through Hosea, the Lord said to Hosea, go, take to yourself a wife of whoredom, and have children of whoredom, for the land commits great whoredom by forsaking the Lord.
There's a theme here. If you didn't pick up on it, whoredom, whoredom, whoredom. Does anyone remember my story in Amsterdam with that word? When we were I was walking along in the red light district, because that's what's open late on Fridays. And there's all kinds of stuff out there. But me and Jeff, my friend Chris, we had just ministered in Ukraine. We were spending the weekend in Amsterdam on the way back. And we're at this place, and it's got its sign in 50 languages. In English, it says live sex on stage. But we're reading in Hebrew, it said, Sanu Babama. And I kind of freaked out. I said, we need to move. And Chris goes, why? I said, well, the Hebrew says fornication on the high place. And I just, that's a little too biblical for my flavor. Let's move on. So the interpretation of Hosea is what's going on here. Did God really tell him to go marry a prostitute? Is it a prostitute? What type of prostitute? Is she a cult prostitute or is she just a streetwalker? Cult prostitutes they had a position, but in Canaanite religion, to secure the fertility of your ranch or farm, you would have sex with a temple prostitute. And so, is that what she is? Is she just a streetwalker? Is this literal? The church and Judaism for centuries interpreted this as a vision, that it never really happened. That he's getting a word from the Lord, as it were. Because would God really tell him to go marry a prostitute? In the last 150 years, 200 years, standard interpretation is it's literal. So there's all kinds of stuff here about how to interpret this. And the message is pretty clear. You're going to do this whore thing because the land is a whore. And the language is graphic. We don't want to mitigate it by softening it. Okay. Hence whore. What you're doing is god awful. So, verse 3,
Gomer, the daughter of
to Bliam.
bore him.
Okay, so he marries this Gomer girl. And which is a heck of a note. We're in heaven, you go, hi, welcome to heaven. My name's Gomer. Oh. I heard about you. Verse 4.
Said to him, call his name Jezreel, for in just a little while I will punish the house of Jehu for the blood of Jezreel.
All right, now Jezreel is a place. It means Yahweh sows, like seed. Where's my map? There it is. But Jezreel is the valley where Megiddo is. You see this dark green thing, which I'm colorblind, whatever that color is. Is it green? What color is it?
It is dark.
Oh, wait. Light brown, that's right. Whatever that is, that darkish area. This valley, which is triangular in shape, is Jezreel. Okay, this is the Jezreel Valley. Major highways. This highway, Damascus is right here. Okay, and so it's a highway connecting to Egypt and another one connecting to Egypt down here. And this road is called the King's Highway. This one is. This one is the way to the sea. Actually named highways in the Bible. And so they're major thoroughfares. And it passes right through this. This is a major center. And Jezreel is standing for the north. It's not just this little area, but it's a metaphor or to stand for all the northern kingdom. You're going to bite it. I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel. Umpteen battles have been fought there. In fact, Megiddo's right there. Notice it's on the side of a hill, which in Hebrew is Har Megiddo. In Greek, Armageddon. This is right here. So the future battle will be there. So umpteen battles. Meanwhile, I'm going to break the bow of Israel. Now, remember what I just told you. Israel is actually quite prosperous. It's powerful. It's wealthy. It's a little corrupt by earthly standards. By biblical standards, it's intensely corrupt. So this is what he's talking to. Nikki, you're doing so well.
She conceived again and bore a daughter, and the Lord said to him, call her name No Mercy, for I will no more have mercy on the house of Israel to forgive them at all.
So these plays, these names are plays on prophetic words from an earlier time. God who gives mercy, and it doesn't mean no mercy, and so forth. No, it's ruchama. It's mercy. There it is. Which, by the way, all the surahs of the Quran, they open with Allah. I mean, with a little thing to Allah, where he's called merciful and compassionate, and it's plays on this word. So interesting. All right, call her name No Mercy.
Will forgive them at all. But I will have mercy on the house of Judah, and I will save them by the Lord their God. I will not save them by bow or by sword or by war or by horses or by horsemen.
Now, remember when I showed you, well, I'll just re-put it up there. This is the Assyrian Empire. You remember this? And look at it, it's all yellow. That is yellow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Except for red. Okay. This is Judah. What? That's not red?
It's red orange.
It's
Is
like
what
OSU.
Crayola box would say.
Oh my God. Okay, that one. But notice Judah survives the Assyrian onslaught, which fits with this. I will have mercy on the house of Judah. Israel, not so much. Now think about this. This is God's chosen people. And Amos has said it. And now Hosea is saying it. And you're biting it. And don't let there be any mistake as to why I'm doing this. It's because you guys are whores. You are unfaithful to me, your God.
When she had weaned no mercy, she conceived and bore a son. And the Lord said, call his name not my people, for you are not my people, and I am not your God.
And, as opposed to the are my people. And God's going to call those not his people, and that's us and stuff. So he's going against some prophetic words, but he says, you're not my people. I'm rejecting you. There are repercussions to your actions. That's the other child. Remember, no, I don't know what they called her in the house. No mercy. They go, yo, no, come here. Yeah, the other child. It had to be a screwy house. That's it.
God says there's no, you're not my people anymore. Is there a redemptive path for that?
Well, there will be. But pretty much, I mean, Israel's going to be destroyed.
Yeah.
But as we see, or will see, they are brought back eventually. That's part of what the Messiah is going to accomplish. But right now, no. And it's devastating. And you read this, you can't help but think of modern society, because we're doing the same thing. And you just go, how long will God put up with this?
Well, what I think about is, what about the person here and the person here and the person here that are faithful to God?
Yeah, God handles all that. But as a society, not so much. All right. We're going to stop here. Stop recording.